Welcome everybody to the first Checkmate video playlist on YouTube. Checkmate, or else like some letters, some words that I put up and form the word checkmate, is the playlist which features low elo games and or high elo games that are garbage, and we put them onto this video and we analyze them. We try to learn, but we mostly cry to the moves that are played. Today's game, I found it on a Discord server. It was a game between two 500s. And let me tell you right now, a 41 move game, which had a couple plot twists. It was very interesting, I have to say. Before we get into it, I'm going to be honest with you, every single rule in chess was probably broken today. But I'm probably not going to sleep tonight. So, names will be kept hidden, so you can't harass the people that are mentioned in today's video. That will be very annoying, and I don't condone harassment. We'll do more videos like this in the future. Not now. I'll upload this video and then think about my regrets of watching this video and regretting the fact that I stayed up a little late and found out that this game was played today. Credits to the people that actually served this game to the Discord server. And yeah, let's jump right into it. Hope y'all are ready. Buckle up. I hope y'all are ready to forget everything that you learned about this game, about the game of chess. Alright, so I'm going to be honest with you. This game was horrible. I found this game on the Discord server of the Low Elo Safe Space. The guy was saying that he broke every single rule in the game, and I decided to take a look at it, and here we are. I'm not gonna sleep today. The time is about to be 11 o'clock at night. I'm gonna do more games than this. So, E4, E5, we have 4 knights. Alright. There is absolutely no way in particular that somebody is going to blunder in a fully symmetrical game. Now, when you play a symmetrical game, the guy with the advantage most of the time is going to be white because he gets to play first. And he can set the tone of the game, maybe create an imbalance, stuff like that, and break the symmetry. You can literally go for a fully symmetrical game here. In this case, this is possible. Like if you take, there's a center fork trick. That's a thing to immediately equalize. Equal material, but there's been an imbalance on the board. We have d3 though. Okay, so the players can choose to play fully symmetrical or, but we have d5, striking the center and a top engine move demonstrated by the 500 playing on the black side. Take, and c4. Okay, so sometimes c4 might not completely work. Let me tell you why. So there is pros in this. Number one advantage is this pawn, this flank pawn on c4, will control the space and will most likely be worth more than a central pawn because it's not a d or e pawn, it's a c pawn. Much like in the Sicilian, you're trying to exchange your pawn for a central pawn, and then take the open c file and use that for attacks. In this case, that's not a Sicilian, but however, a c4 is most of the time going to be good. But in this case, there's a thing called a backward pawn. A backward pawn is when a pawn, let's take for example the d3 pawn, its neighbors have moved past it, and the d3 pawn, for example here, cannot move forward, because if it moves forward, then there's times where it can't move forward because the other pawns might fall, for example. And this tends to be a kind of a weakness. For now, it can be quite exploited because it's defended twice. So yeah, that's the thing. The queen moves. Oh, it doesn't. We have danger levels for the first time. Now, if I gave you the position here, ignore, the evil bar. If I gave you this position here, you 100% go here. Who wouldn't go here? The individual playing with the white pieces, king e2. Okay, so we have king e2. All right, you don't have to move your king when you're in check, by the way. Just saying, rule of thumb. Now you gotta move your queen out of here. Move it here, or actually, even to the home square might be even fine. Because white will struggle to like get his king out of the center, because as you can see, the white queen, the white light square bishop is kind of cramped, and you gotta move your king, and you gotta be a little safe. So you're gonna castle, for example, and he's gonna try to think out of his bishop. In this case, that is strong, but let's say you don't have that. He's going to try to go here. And in the meantime of that, you can create a counter attack and play f5 here after your castle. And by the time he gets his king out of the center, ignore the fact that this, let's say you don't have that capture. By the time he gets his king out of the center, let's say, for example, you like go here. Let's say he also doesn't have that. By the time he gets his king out of the center, you're kind of developed and you have an attack. And he wastes more time. White wastes more time to get his king in safety, because the king is kind of more important than the material. Okay, let's be honest. The king is like bad at middle game and opening, but very strong in the end game and can like win you the game. But knight d4 check, very bad move. It is so bad because after you take and you take back, there is this queen check. This queen check is mostly a trap in Queen's Gambit styles. Like, let me show you for example. Like, there's it's mostly on Queen's Gambit accepted positions. Like, you go here, and some people give the pawn away immediately, and they go here, they check you. Sometimes they forget about their bishop, and then they lose it. Now in this case, it's still fine, but let's say they like just ignore that as well. Let's say they like play something very random. You can give this check, and even if they defend it, you can just go here, take, and you can take, sure, but like the bishop is here. And they might lose this knight, and you're gonna be winning. That's what can happen in a Queen's Gambit position. They can like blunder a bishop. You'll see it how they're gonna do it. It doesn't always work like that. They don't develop the knight on h6, but that's the whole point. It's the same thing here. You just go here and you win the bishop. Like, there's no questions asked. But with bishop e3, hangs a pawn with check. The problem with this is you can't move forward now. You can't do that. It's gonna be really risky. So you gotta block the check. You have one more chance to block this freaking check and shell it. But king f3, and this pawn move is very strong. The reason behind it is after you take, the queen comes back, and let's say you don't block. Let's say you go here. Now this bishop gets involved, and if he goes here, you come back with the queen, and then you got the option of either blocking the check, which if you block, well, you're gonna long castle, and if you don't block the check and you like move forward, you're gonna long castle anyway, and the guy's probably made it. So yeah. But with b6, okay, so king f3 and then b6. Obviously, the idea is bishop b7 check eventually, and rook b1. Rook b1, and bishop b7 check, danger levels one more time. Maybe this guy's been watching a lot of Gotham chess, that's why he knows about danger levels. King g3. Okay, the king is kinda weak, I'm gonna be honest with you. Alright, so I feel like black had a very good game so far, but I think it's time for that to change. Queen takes a2, hangs a bishop. Unpromptly, just hangs a bishop. Okay. Queen a5. The reason this is so bad is because the queen is going to be stuck. Look at this. Rook goes up on rook b5. The queen tries to dart away. You can either offer a queen trade on queen c1, or you can play queen... queen h5, double up on the pawn, and they gotta play like c5 here to defend everything. And you're just gonna develop your bishop calmly, and when they castle, you're just going to bring your rook on the c file. They will have to go here because they've got nowhere else to go, and you will take this pawn. And if they attack you with the rook, then you're gonna offer the queen trade, and they won't have any other choice than to take. And you're gonna emerge in a way better endgame because of, guess what? You're up a piece. So use that. But we have queen a5 and bishop d2. Defends the rook, passive defense, but I'm not going to blame him. He's like 500, whatever he is. I don't blame him. Queen c5. Rook b5. Queen e7. Okay. So far so bad. Queen e1. Double attack on the pawn. e4. So, um, you can either take the pawn. You can take the pawn. It's fine. Bishop f4. Okay. You can defend the pawn. I mean, the pawn is already defended. What am I talking about? You can like play. I don't know, rook d8 here. You could try something. I don't know if it's gonna work. We have castles and complete disregard of what's going on in the center. That pawn is pretty much hanging. Rook e5, Queen f6, and d4. Queen g6, Queen g6 check. Okay, so the first check of the king on g3 has been given. You block because you don't really have any other choice. If you go here, that's made on made in two. Like you gotta. Oh, that's the wrong move. You gotta go here and then you mate. It's over. But Queen g6 check and you block. And then we have Queen f6, Queen d2, h6. Okay, so let me ask you something. When you attack a piece, you attack the piece, and if that piece doesn't move, you take it. Correct? Good. When your piece gets attacked, you have the option to take the attacker, retreat, or the extremely way better and brilliant option is to let the piece die. White tried to do danger levels, but the levels can get dangered pretty easily. And you know what he played in this position? Queen e6. The reason it's so bad is because there's a tactic. That tactic is called a windmill. Rook takes c7 check and king h8. The king is stuck in a vortex. No matter how much you try, you're stuck in a vortex. And with each swing, white will pick up material. Lots of material. Like, you can do this forever. Literally, you can do this forever. And you're eventually going to pick up the queen and stuff like that. Actually, you can actually sack the queen way earlier. Oh, I spoiled something. Never mind. You can actually, after this, you can actually take the bishop here earlier and emerge in this endgame, which you're losing completely, but you can try to win, but I don't think you're going to win. But the other thing you can do after king h8 is lose your queen. Yeah, this is what low elo looks like. Not in low elo tournaments. This is actually has some thinking in casual like rated games and like IRL or chess.com. In this game, it's chess.com. Queen takes h6. Now here's the funny part: you can win the you can win the queen right back at the expense of a rock, and you do this, and you emerge in this endgame. Okay, so the material count is black has 2 rooks and a bishop versus 2 bishops and a rook. White might have some troubles because of the fact that in the queen side there's a 3-on 1, and that is going to be a problem because black has a majority and he has to push that majority. For example, here a5 in the next move. But the reason this is not like minus a billion is the fact that white has a strong pawn in the center, can take a free pawn and ruin the majority of black, and he has a way more active king. For example, king f4 is played in the game, and we have a5. Okay, so hanging the pawn completely. f3, hanging a pawn of our own. The reason it's so bad is because after you take and then you take back, you just push the pawn and you've damaged the pawn structure of white, and you have a passed a pawn. Like, who's gonna stop you? Nobody. Exactly. We have a4. So black is kind of rushing here. You should be kind of rushing here. Because there's just a free pawn here. I mean, just hands down, there's 2 free pawns. This pawn and this pawn. But he chooses neither. bishop f6. Give me €1,000,000 to answer this. I have no clue what bishop f6 does. If you look at the engine above here, there is bishop f6 is not even mentioned. Like, not even mentioned. And what is this? What's the point? King g6 and f takes e4. You might have you might think that the purpose of playing King g6 was to take and attack the bishop, but you play a3. Ooh, e5, a2, bishop d3 check. Oh, you can blunder and draw here, by the way. King h5 is a draw. Believe it or not. This is a top engine move. And you force the king up here. And you gotta, like, find a way to force a draw here. Actually, now it says that it's not a draw. And white is winning because of this move. Now it's back to draw. Now it's... The engine's debating. Now it's a draw again. And it's like a repetition of moves here. Yeah, now it's a draw. Terrific. I'm sorry for the YouTube notice. I can't fix that. I've tried. We have a3, a2, bishop b3 check, king h6, and a spectacular move, bishop g5 check, king h5, and a mating one with the pawn. How embarrassing would this be to lose to a pawn? Well, I certainly don't know. Bishop e2 check. And black is winning after king g6, and he finds it. I think it's the only good move, yeah. You gotta stop the a pawn. It is way too advanced. So rook a1, as bad as it looks, it is the only move that works. You gotta sack a pawn. Unfortunately, you gotta sack a pawn. If he tries to and say white tries to mate you, can just retreat here. They can give you a million checks. There's nothing here. There's just no check. They're gonna try to advance. You might want to move your rook over. In this case, they can attack it. F5 here is strong like this. But I don't get the move, so you can play like something like this. You can even sack your rook here, like this. You can even sack your rook, it's fine. I know the edge doesn't like it, but this endgame is... I don't know how white will win this endgame. Never mind, it's debatable. But you can do it if you want, and, you know, try to risk it. Or you can go for a little bit of a safer approach instead. Like, you can go for... Did I skip a couple moves ahead? Okay, so after king g6, if they give you this check, which is given, you can go like you can go f5 and get peasant. But you're still gonna be completely fine. But it's unfightable in this level. Okay, bishop d3 check, king g7, bishop f6 check, king g8, king g5, bishop takes g2, rook g1, and it is a draw. Actually, no, it's not a draw because I thought it was saying draw, but now it changes it to +4. Wow. The reason why it's so bad is you gotta lose a bishop. But instead of that, we have the following: a1 equals queen. And you know what the top engine move here is? Take the bishop. Because after you do that, you can give me 1,000,000 checks. I'm going to go here. You can, I'm going to go here, and you got a block, and it's mate. But instead, white panics and takes the queen, and is completely lost after taking the rook, and king h6. You play rook h1. Literally anything. You play any rook move. I mean, yeah, you literally play any rook move except, you know, rook d8, and you're winning. But instead of that, and yes, they're going to try to set up a mating net. You're going to go f5 here, class down everything, and escape. But instead of that, we have rook h1, and the game ends by checkmate. What a game, right? What a game. So, a 4 knights game, which was going to be fully symmetrical but was not. And eventually white moved his king up. He left him there in front of his pawns, fended off the angry queen, blundered a lot, blundered his queen and won it back for in the expense of a rook. Black had a lot of chance in the endgame. He could have won. But eventually, though, the one who wins the chess is the one who makes the first to last mistake. Or something like that. It's not the first mistake that's going to kill you, it's the last. And the last mistake here was being greedy. Don't be greedy. Make sure your king is safe. Because if it's not, you're gonna be mated. Now get out of here.